afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacaster with me, host Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, Hero Psych, Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on Crossroads. In the north, we got here LimaOscarMike fighting for the Soviet Union Socialism. The 6th Guards Tank Corps. In the south, we got Frost fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. The 14th Panzer Division. Here to set up an engagement as they both try to secure the crossroads for future movements. We got here encirclement, Fortified Armour, Jaeger Infantry, so an infantry collection with double infantry and a tank gun, versus mechanized support, shock rifle, and Soviet industry with triple infantry for LimaOscarMike. MD42 grenadiers here for Frost, double conscripts for LimaOscarMike. I'll just be referring to as LOM though, because that's going to be really difficult to say, and basically just, LOM. Anyways, double conscripts there for LOM. MD42 grenadiers here for Frost. Moving westwards here, both looks like we're going to focus on the cemetery and securing the resources held within. In these there securing points, so we can see that whereas Frost is going to make one particularly seems harder push here for the western field point, LOM is going to make a sort of dual push, which means one of is going to be weaker, but obviously at the same time, succeeds at one, the other one's going to be, I mean, he can easily just get away with that one. So we'll have to see. Now, it does seem like Frost ends up slightly dispatching the grenadiers elsewhere, so Frost is also now making double push there with the impending before two pioneers serving as one push, and then the grenadiers as a lighter push elsewhere. LOM following up with a third conscript here for the motherland, sandbags being dug, but the MB42 should be able to open up there if the pioneers just get into spot in time, except they're not. So the conscripts might be able to finish the sandbags here because Frost seemingly has not anticipated this move, highlighting slightly the issue with this. And there you go, just as they finally get moving there again. Congrats, sandbags done, he can't easily push them out, so it's going to take some time here for Frost to deal with that. Meanwhile, LOM could supply more troops for that point. Meanwhile, securing these to the fuel point here as well. There you go, renders this one, his as well. In fact, got connectors right now, LOM. It's more or less good. Both fuel points here dug in about them, compared to Frost, who's got 0. So, right here, Frost basically getting punished for not just making a single combined arms push for one of the field points, trying to play greedy, which is sort of more what the Allies do. We got a second squad here for LOM, following up after the third conscript squad. Pioneers bring in. MD4 troop line covering fire, but at the same time can't quite reach. LOM here activating nicely set up the conscripts there. In the south, gun sneaking up. Sandbags down here. LOM very consistent with the sandbags wherever they need it. And now splitting up his forces further. Frost sends a Grenadier squad towards this centre victory point. The third one, where we got conscripts Grenadiers here. MD42 slightly more support here and there. Go up the conscript suppression there finally. Conscript there taking man loss in the centre. In the south, there'll probably be some shooting as well here soon enough. Grenadiers conscript there exchanging man losses inflicted by the Grenadiers. Good work, and there you go, finally pushing away. They need to grab the fuel point pretty snell. LOM here falling up behind the heavy cover. Very good, he could try and flank about, but decides not to, it seems. So already had a lot of exchanges in the early moments of the game. LOM gaining a slight fuel edge. So they got for Special RAF Command, could be snipers, could be scout cars, could be penal troopers. A lot of potential options there for LOM here versus Frost. Though I'm guessing it's going to be south of that. We're trying to bleed out Frost here in the early game, just put pressure on him. But while going up, the MD42 repositioning. Gun has been supported, but again at the same time, not at the same time. So ultimately here, Conscript getting another kill there. Gun squad number 2 moving in here, occupying the house, now covering up the centre. More barbed wire there, a lot of barbed wire in fact. One for putting an air, got engineers versus grenadiers here. We got flamethrowers up for another of LOM engineers squad. Note here, but he actually flanks behind, hits the calf point there. Very good work. Lastly, again, we sort of see the slight issue here with Frost's opening gambit, while allows him to push very broadly. It leaves a lot of gaps which the Russians can exploit against Frost here, and that is clearly what LOM intends to do, which is also really the right choice. Frost responds here with the second MD42 to contain this. LOM has yet to go for the Special RAF Command. It quickly looks like he might just have gone for it because he wants something cheap, then move on fast for the tank command. Maybe not. Units occupying the centre here. We got Communist Wing, but in heavy covers engineers. They're not going to have the best time though. We do have tank. We could try and pop a rifle here versus LOM's engineers. Maybe get a small chance of a wipe there. We got rifle here and excellent hit. They're taking out numerous Russian infantry, and meanwhile the engineers are almost being wiped out the flame for engineers. But still, that is a lot of dead people. Yeah, I'd say roughly about 5 kills with a single rifle grenade. No wipes obviously, but still, that's a pretty good rifle grenade. That is a pretty good rifle grenade. Second photo running snipe out here for LimaOscarMike. Grenadiers here reinforcing, some of them acting quite beaten up. Very badly so. But Fortified Armour, an interesting choice here from the early game, indicates, of course, Frost has actually got a plan here, strategy involving Fortified Armour. Comparatively, LimaOscarMike has yet to display anything there besides, he wants infantry, he wants snipers. But where do we go from this? Is much more responsive strategy in this sense. Will there be mechanized support, guardsmen, sword industry? Will it be shot rifle? I mean, there are options there for LimaOscarMike, aka Lom. Pioneer's going for the carve point, but in this case, really wants to hit this carve point since that's actually connecting fuel. Again, he wants to slow down his opponent tech. S-Mines on the carve point there. That's not a bad idea there by Frost. Not a bad idea at all. He cut through, tried to use the MG42 to grab some territory up north. Hit here. Slightly further pressure lump, but he keeps, vigilantly carrying the fuel point there. Comes retreating. Question is, of course, will Frost be aware of this? Just be able to quickly sweep in and take advantage of this, or what will happen? Back here. Tech up done obviously, but nothing happening there. And you bring it and straight into the MG42, waiting here behind the walls to the cemetery. Right there, grab the victory point here. Victory point whilst we got a slightly to Frost it over. LimaOscarMike so far, and we got medics on there for Lom to help heal up his troops. Providing valuable support. There you go, hitting the carve point as he hits the victory point there. Very good. Like to make a nice company up for Frost as well. And here the sniper poses a problem for Frost's plan of defending the western fuel point, since he can just use the sniper to clear it out without having to bother maneuvering or anything. But at least he's getting the eastern fuel point there, but there you go, hitting the carve point. Rather close to the S-Mines, but the S-Mines are apparently not quite placed sufficiently well enough to activate the gun. But I need to retreat. This is kind of a doctrine, a bit of ambush we're doing better because that was up the machine gun in ambush mode and they'll try and bait in the snipers and kill them. Caught though by the MG42, down to half health already. Veteran one for the MG42, snipers push back. That does give Frost here some more time. And we got a 2-2 on the way for Frost to help counter the sniper. Very solid choice. So you might want to consider second 2-2 to just increase odds, plus get up with infantry. And finally, 2-2 odds have a decent chance versus the T-70 if supported with some good Panzerfausting. Comes to trying to flank out. In this case, so Frost saw it and responds rapidly. They need to get the fuel point there connected. But it does mean Frost now is the one here with a slight fuel lead over his opponent. And there you go, to the arrives, comes from strange hit, 9 tank grenades here. Rather gives Frost here the upper hand as the conscripts. Shit, Petrov, they have a car with guns on it. Why don't we have cars with guns on them? We do, they're just not here. Oh, where are they? They're elsewhere, they're elsewhere. We do have them, they're just elsewhere. Medic bunker up there for Frost. MG4 remaining nature. I feel like Frost be using his machine guns more actually. I mean, having 2 machine guns and then using them both statically, I feel is a bit underutilized. But at least one of them should be a much more aggressive running machine gun that supports his infantry, actually forcing LimaOscarMike or Lom to be a bit more defensive. We got the chamber tank coming up. There likely will be a T-70 on the way there, I imagine. We got S-Mines being spotted here by the Minesweeper team. 3 kills on the 2-2 so far. And Telemines down here, Frost setting up there for any sort of Bolshevik vehicular shenanigans. There you go, Marchman just quickly, Minefield, there you go, got an MG42 carrying, that's actually a pretty good job. In fact, most minefields tend to benefit a lot more from being actually covered by things. In fact, the Russians doing Operation Barbarossa were building a lot of obstacles for the German army. The problem was the Germans used to clear them because they weren't covering them with anything like tank ditches, minefields. I mean, a lot of those things become a lot bloody easier to deal with if there's no, people actually guarding them. Right, they're hitting the carve point, hitting the fuel point. Very good work there by Lom. Is going to need to rush in the 2-2 to do with that. We got the T-70 out. We got anti-tank grenades not yet there for Frost. Obviously, Frost is not going to take any chances about that, though. He's not going to risk it. Back here, Grenadiers almost got to other Grenadier squad setting out. More Telemines would not be a bad choice here, I think, for Frost. He doesn't quite have the munitions. Minesweeper kits there just in case Lom begins laying down mines. Definitely not a bad idea there. Definitely not a bad idea. There you go. T-70 opens up, engaging in the Grenadiers. Again, this is where you need more than one 2-2 to really have a chance. And there you go. Panther fast off, but even then, not really an engagement I would recommend as such. Not an engagement I would recommend, but seems like here Frost is determined to try it out. Pack 40 following up. I mean, he's really pushing his luck here with the 2-2. He's really pushing his luck. I mean, if he really wants to push it, he just go for 2 2-2s and he can deal with the T-70. Plus, he can actually reasonably well deal with infantry in the pair. So, even 2 2-2s tend to not actually be sufficient to counter a sniper, which I do find is a bit silly and certainly highlights they probably need to buff somewhere. Well, there you go. Take up down there for Frosting and Bullet for medium armor. Panzers for the 14th Panzer Division. Meanwhile, Lom here goes for shock rifle. A shocking choice here for the 6th Guards tank corps. We got shock troopers out here. They're actually assault engineers, by the way, sort of meant for clearing out obstacles, obviously, and of course in attacking. Unlike the German pioneers, were also assault pioneers, by the way. They were sort of more specialist units, not part of any sort of units organically, as a fun fact. There you go. Frost begins to use machine guns a bit more actually, though. Of course, now there's a T-70 waiting, at which point it's kind of too late, and that's going to punish him there. In this case, looks like Frost might be getting a bit lucky and not suffer a wipe, but that could have gone very ugly for him. 2-2 being repaired. He's going to have to wait, of course, for the Suprema Corps. But yeah, had he had 2-2-2s leading up the T-70, could have probably also pushed back some of the other infantry that Delon might have it hanging about. Snipers have found themselves the sort of attention here for some grenadiers with a light machine gun. Shoots the sniping arseholes, murders them. What if they surrender? They didn't surrender, they fought to the death. Remember that. They fought to the death rather than surrender. They're fanatical assholes, but what about the other snipers? They also fought to the death. MD-42 there, setting up by the fuel point. 2-2 there being fixed up, more or less. Pack 40 hanging back, T-7 running about here. Going to clear out the S-mines. Frost only stuck in a bit of a map control. The MD-42 Bob is in a rather precarious position there. Already 3 men. Escape routes exposed, and in fact this covered by the T-70. Hitting another fuel point as well here. Good mobility by Lom here versus Frost. This case looks like going to be able to escape with the MD-42 Pack 40. There's no need to be seen. I mean, it's much too far behind positions, too reactive, and that's not really where the Pack 40 is good at, reacting. It's better sort of being set up in paired positions where anticipating your opponent's going to be attacking for whatever reasons. Using the 2-2 to support, but getting a bit too close there. Thankfully, though, for him at least, Frost does not, or Lom here does not have any anti-tank grenades. Betty 2 gained here for the 2-2, increasing its accuracy and rate of fire. Shot slightly penetrating there, but there's not much of an impact. Some of these, oh, MD-40's a shock troops up close, and there you go, gunning them down. Forcing them away. That was pretty close there for Frost. That was really close. T-7 moving in straight to the 2-2. We got the Pack 40 this time around. Got it down to low health. They might be able to finish off here with the 2-2 if he tries this time around, but this time Frost does not. Still, that should keep the T-70 out of the picture for some time. In the meanwhile, Lom is actually, I think, setting himself up quite nicely, being able to take a hit and go for some armor, though he's first going for anti-tank grenades. Not a bad idea to deal with the 2-2-2. Any medium armor Frost might throw at him, though Frost has yet to build the Suprema Corps. It certainly won't be getting it, I think, anytime soon, in part because it doesn't have enough fuel to really do a lot with it except go for Stug. Maybe an Ostwind, but I don't really feel there's much reason to go for an Ostwind at the moment. In fact, you might be better off going for 2 2-2s than an Ostwind, to be honest, which really says a lot about the Ostwind. There you go. He's actually using the infantry awareness ability that way to hit this scout. What it's doing, there you go. At this point, Lom gives away his guy into tank grenades finally. Oorah! Oorah! I think we might just give him the way. Oh no! Oh no! Sniper down to 5 from the MD-42, taking some lighter damage. They have nothing to biting. And strange to the MD-42 with the shock troopers as well. And he's getting ready. 2-2 could rush over their support. He's not pushing for the western fuel point. Suprema Corps that's finding up. Now does have the resources here for the Panzerkampfwagen 4. As for Lom, there is still a distinct lack of any sort of further tech up. It could be he's planning for the IS-2 right now, but that would be silly, I would say. Very silly. Sniper firing in MB42. Up here we got grenades supported by the 2-2 got the T-70 bombarding, fully repaired here by LOM's expert engineers. Back following me up, MB4 dealing with the country there behind heavy cover. Ish, actually this, yeah, behind part Y. Of course, they're not getting the car bonus, in this case quickly suppressed it, but MB42 even popping incendiary piercing rounds. Really just want to lay down the hand there, going to send us down there. T-17 hits from the Pack 40, but he's going to have to fall back here. Mounts it up nicely for the incendiary barrage. And at this point, it should be pretty obvious to Frost here what he's up against. Like, he's up against Shock Rifle. I mean, the Shock Troopers really should have given away there, but like the incendiary barrage really nails it home. But now we have the Panzer 40 here, Frost, the 14th Panzer to be shown. Frost leads the way in Panzers. The Russians, by the way, did have armoured cars, but they were sort of either equipped with the 45mm guns, similar to the T-70, sort of really sort of early ones, sort of looked a bit funny, or they sort of went over to the other end of the extreme, which was sort of more like a really small scout car with a DP light machine gun, as a fun fact as well. It was known as, I think, the BA-64. It was sort of used late war. But in terms of reconnaissance, they moved towards T-34s and 6s, as the T-35s were slowly being replaced by T-34s and 6s, was slowly replaced by the T-35s. Obviously, and again, in a lot of armoured units, they were still relying on the T-34s and 6s as main tank, as T-35 production was actually kind of slow. But there you go, nice hit in the console by the Panzer IV, but it does take a damaged engine. Frost can rush over some ponies, it's important, he definitely should do so fast. LOM here not taking up, going for the S-6M. M standing for modernised. To do that, actually very close to 53. I mean, Frost I think has done reasonably well with it, but I do kind of think he should have gone for 2. I mean, personally, I prefer 2 2-2-2s. Or a 4-4-4 if you want to be funny. And so it can have a slight impact on the battlefield. But again, the trick with them is they require a lot of management, which of course is sort of what turns a lot of people off them, I suppose. But generally, a pair of 2-2s can, you know, reasonably well used to have an impact. More pioneers want to replace the ones lost, not a bad choice at all. He's going to probably need a Stugat to have a chance with 6, more infantry awareness. I mean, it's great to see Frost X making use of this ability. Oh, small chance of wipe there, but there you go, direct hit from the S-6M. Though we do have a smoke in there being laid down by the 2-2. Very good work. And we got take up here as well for LimaOscarMike. Getting a kill down the snipers. One went down to light machine gun fire. And there you go, using a smoke grenade to launch to grab the fuel point there. Very good work. Frost a bit slow grabbing the eastern fuel point there. Away from his opponent, giving here a lot more time to just pull ahead. But eventually 3 2-2-2. An ace. Reconnaissance crew. And we got another incendiary barrage off. I think it's down here. Yep. On the southern fuel. Pretty much preventing Frost from grabbing it. Or wiping a unit if Frost isn't paying attention. So, nasty call in there by Longman. Pretty cheap for what he does there. Ooh, 2-2 taking it from the S-6. Pop smoke, need to fall back. Blocks the view of the Pack 40. Which doesn't help a ton. And S-Man taking off the contra, trying to flank through here. But he gets within range, then takes out the 2-2. Good work there by Lom. Less fortunate there for Frost. Costing his ace reconnaissance crew there. Quite painful. Quite painful, of course, quite helpful there for Lom, who's now going for T-34 and 6. Frost here could go for Stug, and he would probably benefit, I think, greatly from a Stug. He would benefit greatly from a Stug. To help deal with the F-6, the T-7, and of course, any other Russian armor that might arrive on the battlefield. Pack 40. Oh dear, set up poorly there by Frost. Had a bit of a distraction on the way, though. It was up, direct hit on the T-70. Sending up was up close as well, trying to increase the chance of the Pack 40 finish it off there, and gets the T-70. Jürgen, yeah, fetch me a new barrel and a new pair of underpants. I just saw it myself. Whoa, we actually got a hold down Panzer IV. Wow, impressive. You don't see those very often. Now he's going to lose the MD-42 though, again. And he's about to lose the gun in the east or southeast if he's not careful. Mines being laid down there. I can't help but feel that Frost is putting the emphasis on the wrong point here with the hold down Panzer IV. He should be focusing on the resources still. We'll see. Looks like he's going to aim for another Panther 4 here. No Stugs. I mean, if he can hold down the Panther 4, so he might be in less need of Stugs, I suppose. The Stugs can move, the hold down Panther 4 can't. And there Gunner is being assaulted. He needs to retreat. Zurück! Zurückfallen! Schnell! Guineas versus Grenadiers. Panther 4 is going to be opening up some targets soon enough. There we go. Immediately takes down several Russians there, using the power of being held down. Quickly gunning down most of the guns that are trying to rush ahead. Ooh, no! Let's attack this fortified tank! This is a bad idea. There we go. Wipes the conscript squad. I mean, a hold down tank is actually pretty powerful. Of course, the issue with it, it's held down and can't move, which does leave it weak in some spots. Shock troops trying to flank, but they're running into the hold down Panther 4, which immediately just begins wiping them out. Just sniping them. Pack 40 setting up, by the way. Sounds about to deal with it because he can't ignore the T-34, but there you go. Takes it down to half health. Shock troops there. Almost taking out Pack 40. Panther 4, they almost got the T-34 and 6. Grenadiers took out something in the east as well. Veteran 1 for the Panther 4. There you go. Got the unit. Pop smoke. Tries to get out of there. And he had some in support there for the Panther 4. Probably able to slightly do better. He's going to lose that Panther 4, I think. There you go, good hit. Very close to 52 Grenadiers moving in with a Panther Faust. There you go, Panther 4 down. Another Panther 4 for Frost, rather belated there. But that was actually a pretty impressive Panther 4 there, thanks to hold down. And again, it can show you why hold down can be powerful under the right circumstances, but it certainly also highlights a bit the difficulties. Once things get a bit sour, then if you haven't got problems reported, it can very quickly find itself isolated. And that's probably the bigger danger. Just think, well, this is invincible, and then you just sort of, get it killed. But there you go, Panther 4 number 2 almost down there for Frost, and he's being suppressed and murdered here by Lom's men. Also, I'm not still entirely sure this was the best spot. He brought a bit off, trying to support one of his fuel points with it. Lom's more likely to show interest in because, it matters for his tanks. Large chunk of Russians being suppressed outside of the base entrance. There, very good work by Frost. They still lost one MD42, and there you go, second Panther out there for Frost for the German army. Deutschland. Frost is now in control of the map here compared to Lom. He's also got a victory point lead over Lom, which is definitely beneficial here for Frost. Panther 4 moving ahead, engaging the engineers inside the house. MD42 hanging back here. Gonna just grab the car for there. Pioneers on the fire from the MD42. Nicely positioned. Just reinforcing healing and a bit of other stuff going on there. Rolling in the Panther 4 is going to go into the base. He's going to try and get the snipers. Shoots, misses. Mining the basements there. Clearly Lom is anticipating Frost to try and make these kind of moves now. Not bad, not bad. Frost would go for Studio. Also trying to out for another Panther 4. More Pioneers for Frost. They're getting the centre victory point. We'll try and stop the bleed there that Frost is enacting on him here with the 14th Panzer Division. Got the Division 6 moving down. Stu, that would really help with that one. There you go. Rifle grenades off. Light machine gun fire. Oh! Bunches up the troops. 6 men dead. That was a really good rifle grenade there for Frost. Really good rifle grenade. That was just fantastic. It's just a lot of manpower going there for Lom. He's also rather short in infantry compared to Frost. That's definitely something that Lom needs to look into. I think even short term just to fix out. Otherwise, when you risk really just handing almost the fight here to Frost. And I think Lom at this stage is actually playing for the eyes too. Let's see how that's going to work out. I think the western field point there, but we can see Lom there setting up for an expedition known versus the eastern field point. There you go, to the fight gets the Pioneers inside the house, need to fall back. House tumbles apart, and Snobs are gaining veteran 3 with 28 kills. They've certainly proven to be quite efficient here for Lom so far in this battle. Frost being unable to, kill them. Hauling down the Panther 4 again, coming in the centre victory point. Not the fuel points or anything there, just the centre victory. I mean, obviously it's a more centre position, I can just understand why, but even then, I'm not a particularly huge fan of it. Oh, that looks rather tilted. I don't suppose you could slightly tilt this less? I'm feeling uncomfortable. Need to fall back there before these fires just burn them all away. Points there being secured. Hitting the calf point, very good. Panzer IV not responding since it's obviously just sort of stuck, if you will. It's kind of funny there with all the crates. Apparently they just had to put all of the crates next to it. Take from Nation 6. Pack 40 shoots back. Of course, the problem with that is the Pack 40 is vulnerable to the snipers. We've got a bunker setting up to cover here in the east, though. Slow counter-attack here towards regaining the eastern fuel point. Second Panzer IV moving in. Pine gonna need some with the bunker there. So I'm going to be machine gun bunker to help cover the centre victory point. And there you go, cover crumbling before the might of the Panzer IV. MG42 supporting here with, I think, incendiary pistol rounds. Yes, indeed. Taking out the engineers, but there's engineers flanking up behind. Shocksmen from the other side. Panzer IV though hit, can't actually assist thanks to his range. Except the Shocksmen get behind the Bocage first. Oh, he tried to turn about to with him. Shocksmen with him before 2, not good. And now Lom here caught in the eyes too. The Joseph Stalin 2 tank. Calling in now the biggest tank on the field. It still hasn't gotten the fuel point there, nor the western one. Frost map control is certainly looking a lot less amazing now. There we go. Oh! Tried to steal it, but got wiped out here by the whole down Panzer IV. The problem is, of course, the other Panzer IV is heavily damaged. It's got one Pack 40 support. It's going to really need a student now versus the F6, which is about its ace level. A hero of the Soviet Union plus the IS-2, which is fresh from the training camps in Siberia. Need to fix up the Panzer IV. They're going to be with shocks, rocking it off. Oh! Oof. Talk about close. Mission 6 and the Panzer IV. They're going to have to fall back with that one. So he needs to get both tanks repaired, and he's going to desperately, badly need a Stu to have a chance with some long stuff here. And a Pack 40 is just not going to cut it. There you go. Panzer IV receiving repairs, troops reinforcing, healing. Preparing for the next big push against the Russians. Repairs, healing, reinforcement going on there for long. Well, mostly healing. The Ocean 6 is awaiting engineers to actually fix it up. But that's about to happen now as well. Oh, he stole the other MG42 of Frost. This is pretty bad for Frost. He's now lost both his machine guns to Lom. Oh, he can now go for Stug, and he really should go for Stug, I think. Anything that increases chance of knocking out the F6 and the IS-2, and Stug definitely falls within that category. Of course, it might be Frost's other plans. I hope those plans that don't involve the Elephant, because that'd be an absolute waste of resources. But there you go. Stug on the way for Frost for Germany. F6 finally fixed up. Alright, Petrov, let's set out like heroes. Boom. We were heroes, now we're dead meat. So that Telemann was a pretty good investment for Frost. I mean, taking out eventually 3 F6 is really good. Pack 40 set up, I think, with a pretty weak angle there. He's trying to push away the shock with the Panzer IV. But he's standing up out in front of the IS-2. It's definitely not the best position for the Panzer IV to be. Needs to support the Pack 40. There we go. So, need to pull back the Panzer IV. Need to get the Olin in there as well. Down to half health. Stug arrives here for Frost, finally, for Germany. Pack 40 wiped out. That's rather nice loss. Smoke pop. Panzer IV almost down. Definitely not the best engagement there for Frost at all. Managed to escape it using the train. There you go. Panzer IV flanks the IS-2. Flanks it. Taking down to half health. Needs to get the Stug in there. Veterans 1 gain. Stug arrives. Shoots. Misses. Panzer IV with a damaged engine. And he's got troop support, but there aren't any. He's going to try and rush a pink the Pack 40 here with the conscripts. That is really bad news for Frost. And it's going to send the Stug, I think? It looks like it. No, decides not to. But there you go, counter-rushing in for the Pack 4. They're setting up the incendiary fire stick, which actually alters next to the machine gun bunker, where then wipes the crew, wasting the conscripts there. Frost making more progress on the west here with infantry. There's no support. Now there's 6 on the way for Lom to replace the one lost to the Telemines. And the IS-2 falling back there with heavy damage, though most of Frost's army is also heavily damaged. So I suppose they can't equal there. Catching the M4 out in the open, should quickly focus it down. The light machine gun fire. Frost, schnell, fire frei. And there you go, M42 overwhelmed. Being cut to ribs, so they've got the sniper front coming. Fire there with 31 kills, but hit the cuff point there, which should help out. Panzer the Stug support moving in deal with the conscripts. Well, the Stug is not really shooting at them. I suppose it's mostly there for moral support. Don't worry, Otto, we're believing in you over there in your Panzer IV. We just haven't given orders to fire. There you go, Panzer Grenadier out for Frost. Definitely not a bad idea with some of the conscripts here, though. He really should be a bit more careful with some of this stuff. Third Pioneer Escort, Panzer IV good to go. Getting it on repaired, obviously. He could hold it down and then repair it. I mean, they could easily fit, hold it down that way. Could at least provide some covering fire, maybe. Must be a bit harder to damage and whatnot, but I mean, he doesn't have to. Just a small fault there. Lom's almost got his IS-2 fixed up in the meanwhile. Oh, snipers get caught with the Panzer Grenadiers and wiped. Look at this, we got a medal. Yeah, I guess they really didn't like those snipers. Who does? There's a need to retreat. They're about to get grenaded here by the shock troopers. Oh, nice retreat, but almost wiped. Could be in fact being wiped entirely. Panzer trying to get close enough for a grenade, but it's halted here by the MG42. Grabbing the fuel point there, being pushed back here. Some more rough engagements there for Frost in the west. Stug's Panzers there still need repairs. As Lom's IS-2 once more roams the battlefield like a hungry Stalinist predator. There we go, since Lom's shock troopers going away there, they're bulletproof armour and not really Panzer IV proof. He could still hold down the Panzer IV here to cover up. Got the U-6, got the IS-2 moving in. Shoots, need to fall back, needs to get support, needs to get the other Panzer IV down there as well, needs to get the Pack 40 back in operation. There you go, tried to hold down, but in this case it was too late, it was much too late. Stug moving in, Panzer IV still not moving. Shoots, misses the IS-2. How could you miss that, Fritz? It's pretty damn big, it's hard to miss. Stug finding up the M6, the M6 already I think got the upper hand on the Stug. And now it's going to get flanked, need to fall back with the Stug as well. Oh dear, this is going to end up falling. There you go, flanked by the IS-2 as well. Stug goes down pretty rapidly. Frost was, I think in this case, too slow to react here to Lom's attack. His force is too scattered, his Pack 40 not crewed already. Giving, I think, Lom a decisive attack disadvantage versus Frost who lost a Stug, which is going to be making things a lot more difficult for him. But not too bad. So he might try and rush the which looks like this Panzer IV, not a bad idea. And there you go, shoots. Seems like he got a hit there, almost got it. IS-2 supporting, trying to get behind the train so he can't. There we go, got the IS-2. Panzer IV hits 22. Panzer IV saw but failed to penetrate. And there you go, Blitzkrieg over the Panzer IV is going to try and outmaneuver the IS-2, stay behind and out its charge range. Other Panzer IV needs to get in there fast. Oh, there we go, ultimately just escapes. I think that was a pretty clever maneuver there by Frost. Makes it seem like he's going to try and outmaneuver the IS-2 and just stay behind it, and then makes a breakaway there. That was pretty slick there by Frost, pretty slick. H-6 number 3 on the way there for Lom. Plus dealing with the conscripts. Need to get that Panzer IV fixed up, schnell. And then going before troops to arrive to support here, they come from the west, going to force the Panzer Grenadiers away. And he retreats in time. It would be a shame to lose these heroes who took down the snipers. And now Lom really begins pushing hard for the H-6s. Takes out the bunker there with his IS-2, which he partly was designed for, knocking out bunkers and dug in positions. And the IS-2 was in fact not particularly designed for fighting tanks. Landing a hit down the shock troopers. Landing another hit, reasonably good work there. Canadians versus conscripts, another 6 on the way there for Lom. Not a lot more infantry though, which is still where Frost has the advantage. Big 2 points, whilst Frost has the advantage there. We got some hits there on the Panther. We need to fall back with it. Stuke shoots and penetrates. We need to get that Panther fixed up once more. He sadly just constantly repairing his tanks. He can't really operate them together in some greater large unity and something offensively here versus Lom, which starts, I think, keep Frost mostly on the defensive, which is definitely not where he wants to be long term. He wants to be attacking, he wants to pushing back Lom further, and having to just constantly alternate between fixing the other Panzer fours. It's not really helping him. Of course, it's a big benefit for Lom. He can just sort of maintain initiative through these methods. There you go, both Panzer force fixed, Stuke fixed as well. I think a bit of reconnaissance at the right time here to do the trick for them. Scouting out Lom's positions and then launching a pincer attack with the Panzer force, just a precision attack, striking out some particular separated units like for example Lee. You could actually rush them using 6, take it out with the Stukes and the Panther 4, and then suddenly leave Lom there undermanned. But no, he decides against it. Cruise to pack 40, holds down a Panther 4 and sends the other way there. So right here for us is probably doing the opposite of what he needs to do, which is he's separating the tanks. We need to keep them together, making it easier for Lom to just focus down the tanks. Here's the next moving up here. Need to cover the Panther 4 as well. Concentrating here far from the Panther 4. From 6 responds. Stuke pack 4 needs to get support. We got every contact in here from Frost. Stuke moving in, pack 4 not moving, Panther 4 just hanging back. There you go. Stuke takes right here from the Stuke. The pack 40 still not moving here for Frost, and the South Panther 4 with the damaged engine. Or Southwest doing here with the shock troopers. Pushing the Stuke fast, but he's ignoring the edge in the 6, which is definitely risky. And he's finally got the pack 40 moving on, but he might risk losing the Stuke here, which is definitely ill-advised for Frost. Penetrating from the Stuke, getting some damage in, but still taking a lot of damage as well. Got the Panther 4 coming, there we go, countering straight into the line of fire. The Panther 4 Cookers getting snapped apart here. Sending it down in the support position. Panther 4 Summer misses up close to spot, being held down and everything. They're getting some hits from the machine gun there, get almost wiped out. The force of the center victory point units almost being decimated here entirely by Lom, though some are still taking heavy losses. Stuke in desperate need repairs, yet Frost is seemingly feeling himself forced to commit more. And he could be going for another Panther 4 Stuke. In theory there's the option of an elephant, but I definitely wouldn't recommend an elephant. Definitely wouldn't recommend it. 20 points left here, and he's hunting down the Stuke? What? I mean, if Lom insists on the tank head on, that's going to be great for him, but otherwise it seems a bit weird. Also, I'm not entirely sure what he's trying to do out here. The Panther 4 versus the Echelon 6 there. Should get the pack 40 on that job. More air reconnaissance here from Frost. He's suddenly gotten very keen on that. Yeah, this pretty much relies on the idea the opponent will only attack head on. If not, this is a bit silly. Just saying. We can see that Lom is clearly not intending to attack head on. Frost actually now going for a half tick, maybe for an reinforcement heat, or might be for a flamethrowers for now. Either way, he's going for it. There you go. Pack 40 up to support, though half health, half numbers. IS-2 moving in this Stuke. Panther 4, they are not able to support the other Panther 4. Getting some hits in the Echelon 6M, but overall not the best engagement there for Frost, not making the biggest impact, the biggest splash, and the gun has got mowed down by the MD42. That's actually Frost who's shot an infantry compared to Lom. Oh dear. Again, to the extent I can see why he's wanting to do it, but it still feels like a weird choice that all of them hold down. Panther 4's been binding the counter, trying to take them out. Both now Veteran T2. HD5 on the way for Lom. Pentafor just keeps blasting away there. 17 kills and 23, but straight into the IS-3 there with 12 kills. Peck4 supporting as well. Eric Constance again here for Frost. He's really gotten very religious and using it almost more or less constantly. But he needs to pull back that Pentafor. It's actually very close to 53. It would be an absolute waste of experience and all that for Frost to lose it there. Pentafor just keeping the issue 6 at bay. The Stu just does nothing. It's a lawn ornament at this stage. And is about to get wiped out. But TV again for the Pentafor. They go lost another inch score. Now Frost is desperately shot into these, replacing some of their gun of these, but these are pretty horrific losses for Frost. Pretty horrific losses, and again, half his armor, most of his armor force is actually just static, doing nothing. This is actually starting to look pretty bad here for Frost, and there's certainly a chance here now that Lom has a very good chance of actually winning this, because Frost has increasingly no way of really responding to it. And he lost the Ace Pentafor to the Division 6. Again, he was keeping it too close to the front line. His other armor could not screen it or anything. Hell, he had no infantry screen either. And the other M6 just getting bombarded here, but he's bombarding the Pentafor. So right now, Frost's situation has gone from looking pretty good to looking kind of bad. I mean, he's not out of the game yet, but there's a lot of things I would say to worry about that now for Frost. Need to pull back that Pentafor though. I mean, he's a sitting duck. And again, it's not really achieving a lot for Frost there either. Got the issue of moving straight to the Stoop, but there you go. Takes it for the Stoop, gaining eventually 2. Has a much higher rate of fire there. Hold down, fake now gauge V2 gets a slight higher rate of fire there. We almost got the issue. E5 moves into the issue 6. Shoots, fails to penetrate. There you go. Got the issue 6. Possibly got the issue 5 there. There you go. One more hit, main engine damage, and gets the HU5 there. Stug is almost veteran to 3. You need to fall back though. You need to get the Pentafor to support there. Pentafor support Frost. He's just forgotten about the attacking ground as it can't support the Stug. Ah, Frost, you silly person. Oh, Pentafor. Oh, Stug survives another hit there from the anti-tanker. There you go. Allows it to shoot freely. But his Stug is going to need some desperate repairs soon, very soon. He also still needs more infantry. And I think Frost is generally actually trying to play for an elephant at this stage, which is not really advisable. Turning in the Pentafor against the Division 6. Stug being repaired. Got 3 Pioneer squads working in that. Negro Grenades almost taking out the Panzer Grenadiers. Division 6 almost got the Pentafor as well. Grenadiers under fire. But I have to say, attacking into hold down Stug head on is definitely folly. Definitely folly. I mean, that was just an easy engagement there for Frost. There you go, moving up the Stug again for repaired. Target weak point, target to weak point, Jürgen. Civic point, Jürgen. There's the weak point. It's a Russian Panzer. Everywhere's the weak point. Forced to fall back with that one. Pentafor being forced to as well here. Not good. He is getting close to the elephant, and again, he seems to be aiming for it. He just needs a bit of manpower now, but he might risk losing everything else in the meanwhile. Pack 14 and ambushing the Issue 6 there. Very nice work. And he's now forced to reinforce troops, meaning he is delaying his elephant tank destroyer, which is certainly not, I think, helping Frost a lot. And certainly we're better off, I think, just with more armor and infantry. Bunker down. He should dealt with there by Lom's IS-2. There's a 3 Panzer making incredibly short work with engineers, so they should probably get to support the half track there before that's lost. Stewart being fixed up, Pentafor desperate repairs. Panzer charging in. Victory points wise is now Frost time to bleed out here. And as they're getting bombarded. Frost very close to the elephant. Which actually costs more than a Tiger tank, but realistically can probably do less than a Tiger tank, to be honest. A lot less. Aircon's out here from Frost. Scouting the battlefields. Issue from them getting the Stu. He's going to hit one into tank grenade. That's pretty bad for the Ace Stu there. But even in there, it is reasonably able to get out there. Panzer 4 Marine support. Pack 40 covering. Target weak point here would be, I think, pretty good choice there for Frost, but looks like doesn't need it. And there you go, Frost can call in the Elephant Tank Destroyer. There we go. Schwerer Panzerjäger, which is a fun fact, was actually designed initially as a Stu before it got hijacked by Guderian as a tank destroyer. But I'm not entirely sure how practical this would have been as a Stu, to be honest. There you go. Either way, Elephant Heavy Tank Destroyer setting out. Schwerer Panzerjäger Abteilung 653 moving ahead there. There were 2 heavy tanks over time to have access to them. There you go, direct hit on the IS-2 by the Elephant Tank to its high velocity 8mm gun penetrating the IS-2's armour. Got T-5 on the way there for Lom. He's going to obviously going to flank the Elephant. But once he's done that, the Elephant is pretty easily dealt with. He's not repairing his Stuke though. We got air recons on the way there. The reason the Elephant came about was because Ferdinand Porsche, owns Porsche there, basically, when there was a content out for the Tiger tank, it was basically a confidence zone design. He actually began producing them ahead of time. So by the time that Henschel actually won the contract to make Tiger tanks, he had a bunch of Tiger tanks and then couldn't use largely, and so they had to do something with them, and so came the Elephants. So initially they were actually called Ferdinands before they were redesigned and then called Elephant Tank Destroyers. Pioneers lost. Panzer Gunners are supporting the Elephant, at least attempting to. Stu Bowie still not being repaired. It seems like he's forgotten about it. He activates marches men into the shock troopers line of fire. A grenade. Not good at fire against the Panzer 4. And whatnot. After applying ample support. But he really needs to repair that Stu to get that back in the action. I'm surprised that he's not fixing it up right away. I'm quite surprised. He also needs to move his Elephant away because right now the right flank is deeply exposed. He needs to get in between the rest of his forces. That way they can cover the flanks. Because if that Elephant gets flanked, it is dead. It is gone. No more. And looks like it's about to happen here again. Frost is going to get punished badly again. The Stu can't support. The Pack can't support. The Panzer 4 likely can't support. Infantry can't support because there's barely any left, and then what is there's retreating, and again the Elephant's just too slow to react. He needs support, he needs, you know, front line to work behind, otherwise it's just an easy target. As you can see here, as Lom easily outmaneuvers it. And we got an Ace IS-2 out here for Lom, and Ace IS-2. Holy smokes, we got the Stu at the front encountering fire a bit, but Chris, it's not going to be enough. T-34 down there, T-34 down. Stu continue to fire away there, but I fear the Elephant will go down before the IS-2. And there you go, got the Elephant Tank Destroyer with the IS-2. The Stu keeps blast. No, the infantry company is in the way. There you go, attacks. And there's 6 flanking. Stu went down, Stu went down. Oh my god. The Ace IS-2 is still alive. The Stu Ace, which again could have helped a lot more had it been fixed up, did not. Panzer 4 hull down, virtually free, but oh dear, the main gun is out on the Ace though. The main gun is out, all that's left is the machine guns. Panzer 5 in the centre, we got 120 versus 175. Oh dear, this is looking pretty bad for Frost. Pretty bad for the IS-2 crew though, but worse for Frost. Shot bounced. Panzerfaust bounced. An actual Panzerfaust, but he's been able to penetrate that though. There you go. Panzer IV on the move. Going to take out that issue in a 6. In fact, there's a lot it could take out because it's heavily damaged. Blitzing in there. Oh no, he's going to hit the mine. He's going to hit the mine. Oh, scheisse. He might actually now risk being taken out by the issue 5 with a sniff of health left. Oh god. And the Grenadiers just continue. They're taking losses though from the discus. Aim machine is fading into the MG42. The IS-2 might actually survive this. The IS-2 might yes, it's surviving this. It actually survived a base raid at an elephant supported by a poorly repaired Stu 3G. Good lord. Good golly, Miss Mon. There you go, Pack 4 recruit by the Russians. Panzer IV, tiny sliver of health left. And taken out by the HD5. And I think with this, it's GG. Frost has pretty much got nothing left compared to Lum. He has got nothing left. Panzer there being suppressed by the MG42. And there you go, GG, game over. Loss here for Frost, a loss for the Fatherland, a victory here for the Soviet Union. The 6th Guards Tank Corps prevailed though with heavy losses, but Frost suffered heavier losses. In fact, so rather brutal match here on Crossroads. In the end, Frost I think hold down plans basically on Dittman, just caused them to use his tanks statically, separately, which is not what they're good at. I mean, for the tanks to be able to do this, they need to be really good on their own in the first place. And then become even better. And the problem was they're just not that. Or you can't really build up a sustainable defense that can actually rely on the tanks as hard points. So I mean, overall, I think just that basically did Frost. He just uses tanks more actively, aggressively, and not going for an elephant by way. I think Frost had a much better chance of being LimaOscarMike, though again, who did play pretty well as well. So I mean, there's a good play from both sides. But in the end, Frost I think made some strategic errors which rather conceded the advantage to LimaOscarMike long term. I mean, Frost really had the edge there several times, but just failed to utilise it. He could also mind a lot more. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay or provide some feedback in the comment section. This is Imperial Links and Cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you tomorrow for another next episode. Bye.